On a recent trip to Hwange National Park, I was fortunate to come across this wild dog kill early in the morning. I was the only person there at that stage, and for the first 30 minutes the wild dogs had just brought down, I believe, a young kudu at the water's edge, and you can actually see the site of the killing at the edge there where there's blood on the bank. Initially they were quite aggressive and tackled the kill quite quickly. It had been beheaded, and you can see the wild dog on the left hand side was eating the head. They were quite skittish, the wind was pumping, and the audio recording was pretty terrible with the wind, so I couldn't really hear much in the view of sound effects. The video is self-explanatory, although there was some unusual behaviour. The dogs all of a sudden ran off and disappeared, with only a couple staying around the carcass. There were no lions or other animals in the vicinity, but I think the wind was just really causing them to be very cautious. They disappeared behind the trees in the background there, and wouldn't come back to the kill initially. One or two did remain behind. The video is self-explanatory. Eventually they did start coming back in dribs and drabs, but as you can see from the video, they were really looking around and quite concerned. There were no other cars in the vicinity, and I was sitting in a hide about 200 meters away, not making any noise. At one stage there was only one wild dog at the carcass, with all the others having disappeared into the tree line behind the waterhole. They eventually did return, first coming down to drink. You can see some of them were quite young, I think probably not more than 5 or 6 months old. One of the adults had a severely injured foreleg, but he seemed to be coping without too many problems. They eventually all returned to the carcass and attacked it with gusto. I've always seen video of wild dogs at a kill, and they really are quite aggressive, ripping it apart. It doesn't take long for the carcass to disappear. Here we can see them returning slowly but surely. They certainly do work as a pack with no aggression between individuals, ripping the carcass apart with gusto. They did wander off for the occasional drink of water, but always acutely aware of their surroundings. I think this was probably because of the strong wind which was blowing. I think wild dogs are very careful about, especially lions in the area, as they tend to steal the carcasses. I have condensed the video, but you can see in a short period of time the carcass was just down to bones and skin as they ripped it apart. The entire process took approximately 45 minutes, after which there was nothing left but a few bones. I apologize if this is a bit long, but I thought I would document the whole process. It's not often one gets the opportunity to see a kill of this nature, especially in the open like this, and also document the behavior of the dogs. What I found amazing was, as towards the end of the kill, as if on cue, the vultures started arriving, and there were also yellowbill kites which were flying in and stealing food off the carcass. Quite incredible how vultures seem to know that there's a kill and arrive in their droves. Most of the vultures were white-backed vultures. However, there was also a leopard-faced vulture which arrived, as well as a white-headed vulture. The dogs didn't take too kindly to the presence of the vultures, and it was quite fun watching them chase the vultures away from the kill, even though there wasn't much left for them to eat. It was quite interesting to watch their interaction with each other, especially with the youngsters as they played around with the adults, and also tried to stalk the vultures and chase them up. After about 45 minutes there wasn't much left other than skin and bones, and the dogs had had enough to eat. They all went down for a final drink, and then just lay around for a while, chasing off the vultures. As if on cue, they started walking away from the remnants of the kudu, and the vultures all flew in. And they just stood around watching the vultures come in. And then, as if on cue, they all turned around and trotted off into the forest behind and disappeared. Quite incredible to have most of the sighting to myself. A few game viewers did arrive towards the end, but there wasn't really much to see. It does pay off to leave early in the morning at sunrise, first light. Otherwise you miss these sort of things. Great privilege to see this event unfolding before my eyes. Thanks for watching.